All right, we are here on our VirginiaPreps.com Zoomcast, also available on our YouTube channel, as well as heard on 757 Saturday Sports Talk, powered by Larry King Law on Priority Auto Sports Radio 94.1 FM across the Commonwealth. Matt Hatfield here with you, and pleased to be joined by a special guest. This guy was one of the best ballers to ever come out of the 757. He was lacing them up from three-point distance for the Woodside Wolverines, went on to play in the SEC at Arkansas, of course, started with the Boo Williams travel team as well, and now he's the head basketball coach in his fifth season with the Wolverines, now getting ready to play a state championship game at the Siegel Center. VCU 1 o'clock tip on a Saturday in March. What better place to be for Steph Welsh and his Woodside squad? Coach, congrats on a great season, region champs this year, and you're one win away. Just 32 minutes from hoisting the trophy again, this time as a coach, to go with your two times as a player.
Matt, first of all, thank you for having me here, man. I think at this time of the year, it's a blessing to be able to still be practicing and then still have games on the schedule.
Well, it certainly is, because you're only one of what I think it's 12 boys teams in the entire state at the public school level, 12 girls teams. There's 6 divisions now. When you played, it was 3. You remember the great glory AAA, AA, single A days, which is a debate and discussion for another time. But let's flash backwards a little bit if we can to a season ago. I know we spoke in the offseason. You were 18-6 last year, had a good group. You lost a heartbreaker 63-62 to Maury in the regional semis at the Norfolk Scope in a game where you were up 16, drop that one. And I remember you telling me this group is a special group coming back. They've been motivated, fueled by this, and led by Trevor Smith, who we'll get to. He's going to the University of Richmond. And you got back. You got some payback against Maury, both in a regional championship, and you just rallied from 8 down after one quarter to beat them earlier this week, 66-58 in the state semis at Heritage High in Newport News. So your road to redemption, in a lot of ways, has been a sweet one.
Yeah, man, you know what? We really relished that moment. We went through some things to try to get them, during the year, and that didn't work out. And so to be able to, meet up with them again, in the same spot, pretty much from the year before, meant a lot. But now, you know what? I'm just proud of my guys because in the Peninsula District, because our district's so big, we only get 4 open games. We got 18 slotted games, and so with those 4 games, definitely from our side, you can either schedule for the points or you can schedule for the games to show up in March. And I've always been a guy, all the going back to Coach Richardson, we used to take us to North Carolina to the Glaxico, which is now the John Wall. And I always believe in playing teams that, we just not supposed to win the game, and when we went to Gonzaga, when we went and played Gonzaga at the University of Maryland, at the time they were ranked number 5 in the country. And, going into that game, they were one of the most talked about teams in the country. They had just, put on a amazing show at the Jordan Brand Classic event in New York at the Gauchos gym. And, they were, the number 1 team at that time in front of PVI in the Washington Post. So, the thing that we heard was, man, if y'all can weather their storm early, you all will be fine. And my guys went out and really could play the complete basketball game. So it was then that I knew that we had the fight and the fortitude to really compete for a championship. Obviously we took a couple of district losses, and we went down to Cannon School and played against Cannon, which is one of the perennial powers in North Carolina. They beat us on a half-court shot, but we fought. This year, man, this team has fought and responded to adversity. And so it was never a doubt of if we would be in this game. It was a matter of, can we consistently stay assignment sound enough for 32 minutes every night in and every night out, no matter who the opponent was, to put ourselves in this position. And I think that when the scenarios came to win or go home, these guys really put it in their mind, we're not going home. And I think some of those games and those teams that we played really prepared us to, really be in this situation. Even when we were down by 8, you know, against Maury, in the state semifinals, I didn't burn a timeout. I always go to my bench right around the 3 or 4 minute mark in the first quarter to see who ready to go. But I was never bothered. I knew that, with this team, any type of adversity that they've seen, they've responded. And that's just a testament to these guys. They go about their work the right way every single day. I've had to actually scale them back in practice to make it no contact. Because when we say, hey, we're gonna be, 60% today, they only know 100%, and that's being physical and playing fast. So, over the last 3.5 weeks or so, man, we've had minimal contact in practice, which is different for us. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I think that some of that is, some of that comes with, we're a veteran group now, and you know, these guys really, understand what's at stake. So, us having to have physical practices to prepare us to play in physical games, that's no longer, because we've already been through it. We've already been battle tested. Um, these guys just understand the environment that we're in, and they really went about their business the right way.
Well, and you hit on some things that are interesting there, Steph. I think we knew the ingredients were in place. You definitely did, and the capabilities back to the summertime when you won the Norfolk State team camp and you saw your depth and the pieces that you were blending together with that group. Certainly led by Trevor Smith, who we highlighted. You got so many others from Michael Jenkins to Jacoby Reed, Christian Greenlaw, who's a football, basketball, dual sport kid now. Silas Barksdale. I want to hit on him because he's one that I watched you guys lose a tough game in the district to Kickingham, 69-60. He came back and was just a monster against Gonzaga, that 82-73 win. That felt like it was a turning point in your season to go from losing a tough game at home to Kickingham, who's certainly no slouch of program, very good group that Willie Gauze has over there, to respond and beat Gonzaga as good as they were. And the other moment, I think, was the game with Menchville. You played them twice during the season, packed houses. This time you play them a third time at Scope. I felt, and one of the reasons I picked you guys to win that game was it reminded me a lot of last year's Menchville Kickingham battle, where Kickingham came in on the long winning streak. It's just a tough draw in your region in 5B, which is arguably the toughest and fiercest in the entire state. And you win that game 57-39. We know a couple guys went down for Menchville, but I think what gets forgotten about in that game was Trevor Smith had 17 of his 30 points in the fourth quarter. So expand a little bit on Barksdale, one, and Smith, both of them rising to the occasion in big moments, and how that's helped you guys.
Well, I just want to touch on, and because I'm, in it, I'm a proponent of it. It doesn't really bother me. In the world where, a lot of kids reclass, pretty much give themselves a red shirt year to give themselves a little bit more time to develop. Silas Barksdale isn't one of those guys. He could have easily been a freshman this year. You know what I'm saying? He's 15-year-old, 6'9" kid that's still growing. He's still having knee pains, and right around the middle of the season, right before that Gonzaga game, I had to talk with him and told him, if this team is going to reach its heights, I mean, you got to be the X factor. You know what I mean? And he took it personal, and his practice habits changed. It was a lot of times, during the second half of the season, for weeks that, I mean, he was the best player on the floor in practice. And, the thing was, when he translate practice to the games, we gonna be like extremely tough out, and right around that Gonzaga game, man, it clicked for him. Getting MVP of that game, and then for the rest of the year, he was pretty much lights out. We knew what we going to get. We knew exactly what we were going to get from him. I think he missed first team all league by 1 vote. But in my mind, definitely first team all league, definitely first team all region, and it's
And that keeps a
because
kid motivated too, doesn't it? When he misses it by a vote, that keeps him motivated and fuel, right?
absolutely. He's at that at that point now where he's no longer a prospect, and he's no longer a project. Like, he's a player. For a long stretch, I think over a 7-game stretch, man, he averaged 15, 16 rebounds a game, which is vital for us. He gives us so many second chance points at the basket, and one of his most underrated attributes is that when you get past our defender, he's excellent at walling up and altering shots if he doesn't block it. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
I always knew um, once we got to the playoffs and down the stretch, because I did it last year, that we were going to start playing two bigs more. Obviously, with Christian playing football, he missed a lot of time, and he's a pretty big kid, so we used pretty much that whole first half of the season to get him back into playing shape. I mean, we play a really, really fast brand of basketball, in your face defense that, requires you to be in pretty much world class shape. And right around the second half back in the season, Christian started kind of getting back into form. So we knew that we were going to pretty much play a lot with two bigs. That's what made, the most sense for us in the way that we play defense. And it's really worked out for us. And, just to, with Trevor Smith, he was kind of, up and down all year long. But, he's the type of kid that, well, hey, Steph, I know I can go off of 17, in a quarter at this point. I've been doing it for a while now. But, what about when I don't got it going? These guys got to be able to have the confidence to know that they could take over games too. And I think that was very mature of him. I mean, that's just the type of kid he is. He's never been a me guy, always been a team guy. And I think that, a lot of the time, him taking the back seat during the season has really helped us, through this run, because I think we've had different leading scores pretty much almost every single night. One night is Travis Hamilton, who's Trevor Smith's little brother. The next night, the other night it was Christian Greenlaw. The night before that, it was Michael Jenkins. The night before that, it was Trevor Smith. The night before that, it was my brother Saquon Dees. You know what I mean? The night before, well, Messiah Stevens. So that's the beauty about this team, the depth. And, I feel confident in every single guy that's playing pretty much. I mean, I got 9 guys playing starter minutes. I really believe in each and every one of them. And, I've said it and I'll say it again. This team is so mature that, I mean, whoever got it going, that's who they want to ride. You know what I mean? They like seeing each other play well. They like making the extra pass. They like being there, and help defense. You know what I mean? It's just, when you got one of them groups, man, that's just for each other. And, this group has been for each other since we went down to North Carolina for the June live period, and we played North Mac. We beat them by 20, who's a perennial power. We played Westover out of Fayetteville. We beat them by 30, who's a perennial power. We played West Charlotte, who's a perennial power. We beat them by 30. You know what I mean? We played
Mhm.
Southern Durham. We beat them by 30. That's kind of when I knew, like, okay, yeah, this group is special. We just got to get in world-class shape, and endure the physicality of a enduring grind, and stay as healthy as possible. And, we really, really have a chance.
Few more minutes here with Stefan Welsh, former two-time state champion player with the Woodside Wolverines, now the head coach of the team at 22-5, getting ready to take on 29-2 Patrick Henry of Roanoke in the Class 5 state championship. A 1 o'clock tip at VCU. It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk on Priority Auto Sports Radio 94.1. Also, our VirginiaPreps.com Zoom cast available on YouTube as well. And when you walk into the Siegel Center Saturday, right before tip, I know it's going to bring back some memories, some great ones of your days when you helped. You mentioned Coach John Richardson, who you played for, who I know is a mentor and has come back and spoke to your guys and is still part of you in the program in Woodside, and former assistant coach at Virginia Tech and Old Dominion when you all beat Potomac 79-73 back in 2004 and rallied to beat that Percy Harvin, Stanley Pringle-led Lansdowne team 74-71 in 2005 with your mates like Calvin Baker, Sam Matupum, Willie Bell, and Leroy Foster. How's it going to be different now on the sidelines as a coach against this opponent you got in Patrick Henry Roanoke, which I'm not sure they know a whole lot about you, and you may not know a whole lot about them. It's kind of a neat matchup to get a Tidewater Roanoke matchup that we don't ordinarily see in this setting.
You know what, man? I've probably watched about 8 of their games.
Okay.
I'm very familiar with, with their personnel. I think they do a really good job. They do a good job of, playing at their pace. Boo is really good. He had a really strong spring and summer last year with Team Load in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Really good guards that can get downhill and do some things. Got a couple of shooters. So, we know that we got to stay disciplined, and we know that they're going to come to play. We're not going to take them lightly. We're going to go through our normal, game prep stuff, and we we look forward to a really, really good matchup from a really well coached team that's disciplined and, they stick to what they do. Um, but to answer your other question, just to get back in the Siegel Center, it's different now because, you know, at Woodside, we try to, you know, tailor our program to a college program as much as possible. And what I mean by that is, obviously, Matt, with you, traveling and doing the radio with ODU, you travel a day before the game, you go ahead, shoot around, you had team meal, you watch film, so that's what we're going to do. I think it's a good thing that Newport News is out of school on Friday. We actually going to, leave, travel up Friday, practice up there, have our team meal with, watch some film, go have a team outing, at the movies, just some team building stuff. And we're going to get up in the morning and have breakfast, go back to the gym for another walkthrough, and then, get ready to play. So, when I was coming through, it was more so, hey, we're going to take the bus up there before the game and it's time to go. I think our preparation will be a little different. But I fully expect a good game, and I expect the electric crowd. And I expect these guys to play really, really, really well. Obviously, I think the bigger court, it helps us. Just like the scope helped us. You know, we pride ourselves on being in world class shape. Because of the way that we play, and just to have all that extra space. To be able to get up and down the floor the way we do. We like that environment. So I'm just looking forward to, a good, well coached game from both teams, and we're going to go out there and play our brand of basketball and let the chips fall where they may. But it's definitely going to bring back memories, man, all through the year. Just watching these guys, and the first game of the year when it's sold out against Kickingham, from watching Kickingham be sold out to Woodside being sold out to having state basketball games in Newport News. I don't know when the last time or if we've ever had that. Back when I was playing, we was going to Churchland. So just to see the city rally around these guys, with so much that's going on, in our school system, and so much that has going on in the city, to be a positive influence and to give the people in Newport News something positive to get behind. It's been the ultimate blessing.
I know everybody in the 757 looking forward to it as you're the last boys team standing on the public school side. Of course, a couple of girls teams in Hampton and Princess Anne fortunate enough to make it, but the last boys team that's going through the gauntlet from Region 5B and just all the divisions from Class 6 down to Class 1, the Woodside Wolverines, who at 22-5 will take on the 29-2 Patrick Henry Roanoke Patriots, a 1 o'clock tip Saturday afternoon at the Siegel Center at VCU in Richmond. Stefan Welsh, congrats on a great job. It's been a joy watching you as a player, now as a coach leading these group of young men, and all the best to you, and look forward to the call coming up on Saturday.
Man, I appreciate you for having me, man. I just want to thank everybody that supported my team all year long. I want to thank the city of Newport News for, pushing us through that Maury game, and everybody that showed up to the Norfolk Scope, everybody that followed us from the first game and to the last game at the Siegel Center. And I just want, everyone to know that we genuinely appreciate all of your support.
That's Stefan Welsh, head boys basketball coach of the Woodside Wolverines out of Newport News, going for a state championship with his group against Patrick Henry Roanoke here on our VirginiaPreps.com Zoomcast, also available on YouTube and heard all across the Commonwealth on 94.1 Priority Auto Sports Radio 94.1.